Hey guys, what's up? This is Rob with One Star Reviews. Thank you so much for watching. It's Saturday afternoon. I hope you're having a great start to the weekend. Today we're going to review the Helteko Air Compressor. This is it right here. You can pick this up at Amazon. I paid $62 for it. It's like 62 something and change, so 63. And if you guys have been watching my videos, I've also did a previous review for the smaller Helteko air compressor, and we'll go through some of the differences in a little bit. But this is it right here. I'm going to try to do some type of unboxing. You know, I've already opened it and I've used it one time, but we're gonna check it out together, right? So some of the specs on this one's a little different than the previous one I did, where that one was only a DC input or output. Well, anyway, you can plug it into like a DC outlet, like a car cigarette lighter or something like that. This one right here, this is improved. It also does AC as well. So that's the big plus, this whole thing. It comes with a nice carry pouch here. It looks like a lunch pail style, versus the other one comes with more of a vertical carry pouch. So this one's a little bit more space saving. All right, so inside you got the unit right here. There's nothing in here, so we'll set this to the side. This is the unit right here, and it kind of just sits flat down. So if you remember, the other pump kind of laid sideways with the rubber feet on the side, so it kind of took up a lot of room as you were, as you put it on the ground. But this one's a little bit more space saving. It's kind of like a tower format, and it's got a nice handle on it. So that's another plus on it. Now, the difference in the price is it's pretty big. This one is 60 to 63 bucks, and the previous one that I tested was half the price, about 32. I think I checked today on Amazon. It's still selling for 32 bucks. Decent one. I had it for so many years. I think I had it for 3 years, 3.5 years. Finally conked out on me. Something happened with the tube. I left it in the garage too long, and I think the tube, the hose kind of deteriorated a little bit. So that's the reason why I purchased a new one. But this one is the latest one. Again, it's the same color strategy, you know, red, black, whatever. And then this is the addition. It's got a nice AC, so if you're at home, which is where most of the time you are. Now, if you're on the road and you get stranded and your tire's flat, DC, the way to go there. It's very flexible. But this is really cool because usually when my air is low, usually I'm at home. Usually it's not on the side of the road somewhere. So I'll use this AC, and the cable's pretty long. It's about, probably about 3.5 feet long. And you know, it's definitely not going to be long enough to plug into a socket itself. So if you have a nice extension cord in your garage like I do, you just plug this thing in. Very easy. You know, it kind of rolls up in this little section right here. And then this little housing here, this little empty space, also houses the tube, or the what do you call this thing? The air tube. And this thing is, I mean, it's not too long either. I'd probably say this is about 2.5 feet, right? Standard nozzle, and all the accessories, which are cool, they snap into this little bottom right here, if you can see that. So if you have different like needles for basketballs or soccer balls or stuff like that, and then you have other hooks for inflatable items like I don't know, air mattress or whatever. I don't know. You could put that right here. So yeah, that's all built in right here. So nice little convenient section here on the bottom. We got 2 big rubber stoppers right here, so it keeps it from moving, and then the air vents on the bottom here too. Now I've tested this already, and it doesn't move. You know, it's heavy enough where it won't move. This thing's probably about, I don't know, 2 or 3 pounds, maybe closer to 3 pounds. It's not lightweight. And then on the back, you know, you got some specs right here: 100 watt, AC DC. What else does it say on here? A bunch of warnings, which we will avoid. All right, so pretty simple, straightforward. You have a digital panel right here. There's a switch right here for the light. I think it's this one right here. Yeah, right here. There's an LED light on this side right here. That's pretty handy for if you can't see at night. You got a little thing there, and then there's some options over here to change the standard of measurements here, whether you want bar or PSI. I think there's one other one. I can't see that. I can't remember that one right now. And then what's the other one for? That's for the light. And then here's your plus and minus for how much air pressure you want in the item. For this example I'm going to do today, it's going to be my car tire, just like I did the last one. So this thing also has an auto shut off feature, which is super cool. I love these that have the auto shut off. So you basically attach this to your, in this case, the car tire. It'll show you what the current pressure is. You kind of up, down, usually it should be up. Get it to where you need it to be. For example, 35 PSI. Then you hit the power button, which is up top here. You just kind of toggle that, boom. Yeah, let me show you that real quick. So there's like a toggle here for home and car. So this side is going to be your DC. So you're going to flip it this way so that the resting spot, the power off, is in the middle. And then if you want to use the DC, you flip it this way, and then the pump will start. And then if you flip it this way, you're using the AC. So really convenient here. So you just turn it on, and the thing will shut off automatically once it gets to the desired PSI. So cool. You can just walk away. You don't have to sit there, kind of like when you're at the gas station. You just got to keep pulling the thing off the valve every time and rechecking the PSI. This is super easy, and it's very accurate. Now, one thing I'm going to test too is the speed, right? And I'm hoping that the AC gives it some more speed. So I'm going to test both. I'm going to test the DC version, see if it compares to the old Helteko pump. The old one basically was doing about 15 seconds per PSI. So I filled it up 7 PSI. It took like 105 seconds or something. So I'm going to test the DC versus the AC, and hopefully the AC is faster, because we're paying double the price for, a little bit more space saving, a little bit cooler design. But I got to know that the AC is going to do this a little faster, because, you'd hopefully, coming from a standard wall jack, it's going to be faster than a cigarette lighter. So let's go to my garage and let's get started. All right, guys, so we're back in. We're in my garage now. Same tire I used last time for the test. This is my 2009 Nissan Altima. And I'm going to go ahead and attach the hose to the valve here and get a initial measurement. So it's pretty easy. You just snap it in there. And as you can see, maybe you can't see. Get this closer. All right, let's do that. All right, so you can see right there, 31 and a half right there. So we're just gonna see how long it takes to get to 35. So like I said, there's a light switch right here, turn it on. Oops, wrong side, LED. And it's par for the course. It's not the brightest thing in the world, but it'll help you out in a pinch. And then right here, you're gonna see, right now we're in PSI right there. Let me see if you can see that. Anyway, if you switch this right here, this M right here, will switch it from, oops, I turn the light on again. You can switch it to KPA. I'm trying to see that there. KPA, bar, and then there's a kg/cm. I don't know exactly what that is. I'll definitely check that out. And then there's bar right there, and then back to KPA, and then back to PSI. So there's several different forms of measurement there. I'll leave it on PSI, and like I said, you could dial it up and down right here. So see, I'm going to dial it up to 35. Actually, it was already on 35. So we're going to dial up to 35. And then it's already hooked up to the AC. So all I got to do is punch this to the home right over here. And it's going to kick on. Okay, so I'm going to get my stopwatch. And I'm going to see how long it takes. So it's basically going to go, 4.5 pounds. I'm not going to get too high speed specific here. Let's see. How does Apple do this? Okay, so we'll get this started. I'm gonna let you hear it for a little bit. Let you hear how loud it is. Again, I'm in my garage, and then we'll come back when it's about to be finished. All right, here we go. Oops. There we go. Hey guys, so we're back in. I had to do a bunch of additional testing because I was getting some inconsistent results between the AC and the DC, and I was screwing up the calculator, and I don't want to film all that and show you all the bloopers and all that stuff. So I came out, I did some more testing with the AC again, going 3.5 psi up, and then I did the same thing with the DC, going 3.5 psi up. With the DC, I did do it with the car running. So your results are going to vary. And I think at the end of the day, the results are just going to vary depending on voltage and, you know, how maybe the condition of your battery or the electrical system, I think it's gonna be mostly a wash. So here's what I came up with. Let's see if you can see that. So for the AC, I ended up with an average of about 14 seconds per PSI. And here's just some of the math. And then the DC was a little bit more. Okay, 14.28, I think is what I ended up with. So at the end of the day, it's really not much. And it lines up on par with the previous Helteko air compressor too. That one was right around 14, 15 seconds per PSI. So there is no advantage to having the bigger unit like this. There's no advantage of having it other than the features that are not included in the previous one. Now this one again sits straight up and down. It's a little bit more space saving. The one thing I don't like about this is this little well right here. It's plastic, it's sharp. You can kind of cut your hands if you're not careful trying to stuff everything back in here. The tube, this hose, you have to kind of finagle it, roll it in there, which, you know, I would appreciate in the future some type of like automatic reel or something like that. And then of course the DC plug is super long, so I really like that. I really like that it's really long. It's probably, I don't know, 7-8 feet. I mean, if you pull it out. So there's a lot of length to the cord. So yeah, so the one thing I don't like is this thing right here. And then another thing I do like, I dropped something else. Another thing I do like is the bag. The bag is actually bigger than the unit. You know, sometimes you get a unit, you get something and they give you a carry bag and it's like barely big enough to fit it. You could actually stuff the pump in here and not stuff all the cables back in, and it'll still fit. So I do like how they made the bag a little bit bigger. It makes it a little bit easier to carry around, because you don't want to have to, once you finish doing this, if you're on the side of the road, you don't want to have to like wind everything up and put everything back in the compartment and do all that stuff. So it makes it really handy to just kind of throw it in here, stuff the cables in, shut it, zip it, and then you could do all that later, right? So I think that's a big plus for this bag. Overall, it's kind of hard to recommend if you don't need the AC, which I would have still bought it, right? And that's the reason I went ahead and spent the extra money. I went ahead and bought it because it's more convenient to use a household cable. You don't have to, you know, fish the DC on each side of the car and then kind of move things around like that. And it, you know, it sits on the ground a little bit better. But overall, that's pretty much all you're gaining. Let's see, what else was there? That's the big thing. That's the big thing. The speed is going to be about the same. And then the design, the space-saving design is a little bit better. So kind of in the middle here. If you don't care about the money, if you just want something convenient with the AC, I would definitely get this. If you're not worried about it, if you're always thinking, oh, I'll just use my car charger or my cigarette lighter to charge this, then you don't need the AC. Save yourself some money. So it's 30 bucks. But let me know what you think in the comments. Again, this is very iffy for me. If money was no object, sure, get the AC. If money is budget is very, you know, is a concern for you, then I would probably just stick to the DC and just, you know, start the car every time you want to put air in the tires. It doesn't happen often, so you could be saving money there. So let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. This is Rob with One Star Reviews. Stay safe. God bless you. Do yourself a favor. Love your neighbor, and we'll see you next time.